What are you doing? Your finger in your jar. Hey, you stop. What are you gonna do? Be smacking your jowls? What is that,
I have
karma?
chocolate from my boss at work. You want to keep the
So,
jar though and put guitar picks in them?
so have you started watching Christmas movies yet, Greg?
Me, yeah, I have.
I just started last night.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I've been
started.
watching it for 2 weeks already.
Guess what I started with? Bad Santa.
That's a
What'd you start?
classic.
What'd you
I
start with?
I started with Krampus,
Oh yeah.
and
Got it.
then I've been watching a lot of like Christmas horror movies, and then I watched Gremlins, then Die Hard, which is not a horror movie, but it's a fucking great movie.
It's a great Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm. They made it official last year that it's going to be a Christmas movie.
Did you say Gremlins? That's a great Christmas movie too.
Mhm.
I got in an argument with somebody recently. They're like, "That's not a Christmas movie," and I'm like, "Let me explain to you how this can't get any more like a Christmas movie." You, the what are they called? Mogwais. The Mogwai was given to the kid on Christmas, and the entire movie takes place on Christmas.
It
Yeah.
does.
It couldn't get more Christmas than that.
Well, if it has a Christmas tree, Christmas carols, and Christmas lights and shit blowing up, it's a Christmas movie.
It's
Yeah.
a Christmas movie.
Just because it's not happy-go-lucky all the time doesn't mean it's not
Oh,
a
I
Christmas movie.
love you. Shut up.
I love you too, Greg.
Hey, no, I'm not in the movie.
But like,
What
I don't
else?
know.
I watched the first two Home Alone movies.
Those are the
Oh,
only two
they're
that
brilliant.
matter. Those are the only two that matter.
Yeah, the rest sucked. The rest went downhill.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see the commercial for Home Sweet Home Alone? The new one.
It's on Disney Plus.
The cast returns all but Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
The one that
I'm not wa-
matters.
I'm not. I'm not watching it.
Buzz plays the cop. He's a cop.
Well, Buzz
Oh,
is
yeah.
in the Buzz is in the last couple of ones as the main character because it focuses on him.
Well, I think you know what they should do since that kind of ties into the original.
Kill him.
No.
Oh.
Release the one that I want to release. Okay. Hear me out. Bring back Macaulay Culkin, but don't have him home alone because he's not a kid anymore. Have him have his own kid. That kid gets kidnapped, and in the style of Taken, he has to get his kid back from the sticky bandits with the help of Buzz's brother,
That sounds a good one.
who's a cop.
Ransom.
What would you call it?
Not home.
Not home.
Home Alone. Home Alone Ransom Part 2.
Home Alone Ransom Part 2, even though there's only one.
Oh, yeah.
Greg's making movies over here like Star Wars movies. We're gonna release Part 4.
And then Mel Gibson comes back.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have him like all nuts, and then have like Danny DeVito play one of the sticky bandits.
Steven Seagal is one of the main is the main villain.
He plays the cop, the best one on the force. I want to see.
Hey, I got your kid.
I want to see one Steven Seagal movie where he does that and then gets knocked the fuck out.
Have you seen all of these movies? It's like,
Did you hear he went to Phoenix, Arizona? I know it was in Arizona, but I'm pretty sure it was Phoenix. He went to Phoenix, became a cop on their police force, and taught their cops how to fight.
well, he is a real life martial artist, though.
But a lot of like legit like martial artists state that his form of martial arts is just to de-arm people. It's not to defend yourself.
Oh, whatever. Still martial artist.
And he treats it like it's to defend yourself and it's the best martial arts in the world.
Well, if he can do it, I can do it. And if I get killed, it's his fault.
Speaking of killed, did you see this guy? He's a cop, I think in Chicago. He does these instructional videos on how to like get out of dangerous situations, but like all of them would get you killed. Hi, Danny. Thanks for joining the chat.
Hi, Danny.
But it's funny because he has this one video of this gun pointed to his head in the backseat. He's like, what you do is and he freaking elbows the gun, takes it, and points it at the guy. And I saw a video of some guy reenacting that, and he goes to hit the gun, and next thing you know, he's in heaven. He's like, what happened?
This is how innocent people and cops die every day.
Like, oh my good gracious.
What else have I been watching? I watched Silent Night, the 2012 remake horror film. It's actually pretty good.
I heard it's good.
On YouTube. Yeah, it's so good. I watched the kill count of Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg.
I love that fucking movie.
That looks so cheesy as fuck. Like he does like all these cheesy wrestling moves in that movie.
Have you seen that movie, or did you watch the best of?
I watched like the kill count.
Oh, you need to watch the movie. It's as cheesy as you can imagine. Naomi, have you heard of this movie, Santa's Sleigh?
No, I haven't.
It's starring Bill Goldberg, formerly of WCW, currently in WWE. He plays kind of like a Krampus character. Santa's a demon that kills people. And it's played by
he made a deal. He made a deal with the old guy.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it all the way through, so I don't remember the full backing story, but I know he's a demon that cut some kind of a deal and is killing people, and that's all you really need to know. Bill Goldberg.
Okay, I think it was in the first 10 minutes, it kills like 5 people.
Yeah. Yeah, he comes down the chimney and fucking starts killing people.
And yeah, it's so cheesy. I might watch that on my break today.
You should. Good. It's pretty good. It's if you like cheesy horror films, you'd love it.
Yeah, they should do one of Leatherface.
Oh yeah, Leatherface does Christmas.
Yeah, he's wearing a Santa hat, and then like, get off my lawn! Ah! You know.
Do you know what's another good Christmas movie, but yet cheesy as fuck as well, is Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to deck
you. I should see it. Eh?
I've seen that.
The Big Show's in it. He's not credited, but he's in it.
Who does he play as?
There's a scene where Arnold fights like all these Santa Clauses in like a mall or something like that, and one of them's like a 7-foot tall giant, and he's like, "I'm gonna deck your halls, bub." That's played by the Big Show.
To go back to Santa's Sleigh, seeing Bill Goldberg with hair kind of looks like Kevin Nash.
Yeah, and that long fucking beard.
Yeah. That's Kevin Nash as his stunt double.
You know what's really bad is when Goldberg made the jump, like when WWE bought WCW, he was promoting that movie.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Yeah, because most WWE wrestlers do that.
Yeah.
They do, like, sometimes the company promotes their movies for them.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Joe. How you doing, dear?
Hi, Joe.
But, like, I don't know. Santa's Sleigh is great, but... how many WWE or even wrestling films actually was good? Like, amazing.
Not many.
I can name one. Well, no, 2. I can name 2. But
See No Evil?
I could have technically named 3 because See No Evil 1 and 2 are both really good.
I watched the second one. And Danielle Harris, the chick from Halloween, was in there. I'm like, oh, my crush, and then she dies. I'm like, oh.
Both movies are great, but that's because Kane's a fucking terrifying human being when he tries to be.
Yeah, he plays it so well. Like it's his character.
You know what's
the
scary?
Undertaker could do well. Could you see like Undertaker play Leatherface?
Oh God, he's too tall.
Hmm?
He's way too tall, dude. He's like 7 foot tall. That'd be fucking terrifying.
Or if Leatherface had a dad, that's like a dad, a father that he didn't know that he exists, and he goes,
You know what's
"Here,
terrifying?
son, here's my chainsaw."
And his son is played by John Cena. You couldn't see him the whole movie, so it'd be a great horror movie.
Or Kane. Or Kane playing as Sorry, look at my headphones plugged in.
You want to know what's terrifying though?
So,
Kane is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
oh shit.
Hi, Just the Facts. That's Dan with Just the Facts. Go check them out. He's amazing. He's a great guy. I was just recently on Royce in the House with him. I showed up at like an hour into the show, but we talked about like groundbreaking bands and whatever.
Is that when you were on a podcast or something?
Yeah.
And you so was on a podcast and famous.
Well, Royce got a hold of me and was like, "You want to be on my show?" And I noticed that he had already went live and he was still live. And it was an hour into the show and I was off work. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll go on. So I went ahead and went on it. And we talked about groundbreaking bands and then a bunch of other shit, motorcycles and all kinds of other stuff. I don't personally ride, but I love hearing stories other people have to tell about riding. But go check out Just the Facts. Check out Royce in the House. And also go check out the Voice It Show. They have Igor.
He's the guy from Supernatural, I believe, is it?
It kind of looks like it. How do you pronounce that last name, guys? Help me out. Igor Paspalj.
Yeah, sounds
I'm
right
not
to
sure,
me.
yeah.
Paspalj.
Possibly.
I'm really bad at shit like that. And
Just
also,
cut out the gang calling him Paspal.
Paspal.
Pascal.
He's my
Yeah.
homie.
Yeah. He
He's
fights
my,
demons. I'm pretty sure he's the guy from Supernatural.
he might be. He very well
Yeah.
might be. We'd also like to shout out Catfight Coffee. I just drank some. It's one of the few coffees out there that don't make me poop.
The morning blend makes me poop, which is good.
This is a weird way to promote AC. If you want to poop, try the morning blend. But if you don't want to shit yourself, try the Alice Cooper blend. Correct. You're a genius marketer. You know that?
And if you want to, flush your guts out, drink the espresso.
By the way, guys, go check us out on Instagram. We do have an Instagram account, and we're going to start promoting on there and on Facebook.
And I've been doing Christmas covers lately too. So
go check out Gorak stuff. Gorak_1985. It's 1985. Dude, you should cover that. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Is that Bowling or Soup?
Yeah, Bowling for Soup.
Yeah. I swear that they wrote that song for me.
Dude, we should cover that.
And then that song was released on my birthday, December 1985.
It was?
Yeah. I should get royalties for that, you bitches.
In 1985, you had Gorak and Blondie and music still on MTV.
Yeah.
I saw a post. Somebody asked Bowling for Soup a question that everyone wanted to know, and they answered it.
You like soup?
No. The name Bowling for Soup. Are you bowling on behalf of the soup, or are you bowling for the soup? Like, are you bowling to acquire soup? I do believe their answer was. Like, are you bowling on behalf of the soup, or are you bowling to acquire the soup?
Yeah, I always thought it was the latter.
It is. It's the latter.
It is.
It's bowling
for soup.
Yeah, you're bowling to win or acquire soup. Because bowling on behalf of soup makes no sense because soup can't bowl.
Yeah.
But
no, if you ask for a bowl of soup.
Super.
Yeah, true. I mean, we should start a band that has a weird name like that. Like Bowling for Soup cover band or a parody band. We call it.
Are you putting the soup into a bowl? That's one of our new singles.
Bowling for Soup. Are you putting the soup in the bowl? Other
Is
band
it
name.
Tinder homemade?
I've always thought that it's
He can be our mascot. Ha ha ha
Oh,
ha.
awesome. Dan has the best stories. We need to bring him on here because he's worked. Dan work is with Just the Facts. He does the Ride for Dime, which is a charity event for Dimebag Darrell.
Oh, nice.
In his memory, they
Yeah.
ride motorcycles and they have concerts and stuff in memory of Dimebag Darrell.
Eddie Trunk's normally there, isn't he?
He might be. I don't know.
Oh no, that's why I forgot Ronnie. Sorry.
Because I know that Dan does a lot of stuff like that because he knew Dimebag and Vinny and them, and he's hung out with them a couple times.
Haha, dude. That's funny.
But yeah, Dan's awesome. Go check him out. Just the Facts. I should start a show in a feud called Just Myths, where I just make up shit so that he has to debunk it. You know what I mean?
And I should do one, and it's all about Dwayne Johnson.
Dude, have you thought about being a Dwayne The Rock Johnson impersonator? Like go to WWE and just like walk around being a dick?
No, I did an audition for the Young Rock TV show, but I didn't get it.
It would work. It would really work.
Have you seen that show though? Like,
no, I have not. Isn't it
just
like?
It's just a story of Dwayne Johnson when he was young, growing up, going to college football and stuff. It's actually pretty good. But then, what's that?
Good. I thought you were
done. I said I wasn't done. Anyway.
But isn't it in the same vein?
As I was done.
Isn't it done in the same vein as Everybody Hates Chris? Chris Rock show.
Yeah, and it has like Randy Savage and stuff like that in there.
That's
it's cool. Actually pretty good. I think I sent you a snap, but Dwayne Johnson is the like he's in it, but like he talks like he's like the what you call it, the person that talks behind it. Anyway, yeah, he's in the show and he talks about it a little bit, and then it's like a flashbacks when he was a kid and he wanted to be a pro wrestler and all that shit. So
that's crazy, dude.
I like it. At first I thought it was gonna be a flop, but it's Dwayne Johnson. Nothing's a flop. So there you go.
So we might have Dan joining us. I would love to have an episode where we promote him being on, but he might show up just to bullshit with us. Hi, Anders.
Hi, Anders.
Hello there, sir.
I love doing shows. I love doing shows like this when we don't have a guest because we can actually interact with the crowd. I feel really bad when we have a guest because I get stuck. We all get stuck in conversation and we kind of avoid the crowd. I feel bad for that.
I feel like we're artists and we're interacting with the crowd.
Yeah. Like, let me hear you scream. I don't know why I did that like Ozzy Osbourne.
And then Andy was like, fuck you.
So, guys, we do have a guest towards the beginning of December. We can't say quite yet because I haven't called him. But you can find the phone calls on Instagram.
Here's my bill. The numbers that I've been ringing.
I haven't even been calling anybody we know. I've just been calling random numbers. Hey, you want to be on my podcast?
Yeah. Some guy from like overseas that you don't know.
Yes, I will be on your show.
Yeah.
Random person. Who's this?
Surprise.
I thought about when I was living in Phoenix finding a random homeless person that looked the most entertaining and put them on the show.
Make him famous, dude. And you have an Instagram account.
Yeah. Like, I hope someday we make it big enough and have a big enough crowd where we can just bring random people off the street on and make them famous. Because I would love to be the guy that gives back. You know what I mean?
No.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear about
what were your
Huh? I'm sorry, Greg.
So let's tell me a story. Why are you on the streets? Like, why do you want to be like this? We want you to see. We want you to be happy.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
And
homeless
these
people
chocolates are
have.
nice. Sorry, halfway.
What's
No, finished.
What's fucked up is a lot of homeless people are that way because our government doesn't take care of people.
Yeah.
That's why.
Ours does a bit, but they get paid. They get paid a bit from the government, but they get forced to look for work when they don't have any skills.
Don't you guys in Australia though? Don't you get like after working for a place for a year, you get like a month off work, paid vacation?
Um, yeah, that's sort of like annual leave. So if you work full time and stuff like that, you do, or you can save
Okay.
them up and go for like a long term leave.
Because I was talking to Royce and he had a lot of questions about Australia that we didn't cover on the show, but I forget what his questions were. So we might bring him on and have you be interviewed by Royce about Australia.
Oh shit, another one.
Because no, like there's a lot of questions because in the United States we don't know. So we'd like to learn
Yeah,
about other cultures and stuff. And then Australia is much different because your paid vacation, correct me if I'm wrong. In America, if you collect vacation at a workplace, let's say you have 3 weeks due to being there for a few years, okay? You
yeah.
can't take all 3 weeks at the same time. You have to split
Yeah,
up the
yeah.
week. Bye, Anders. Thank you for
Bye,
tuning in.
and
Anders is the like one of our biggest supporters.
have a great
He's
Christmas.
like one of my biggest fans.
We
I need to sign
appreciate
some,
him.
I need to sign some photos and send to him. Anyway, go on.
But
Hashtag early fans.
what was I saying? My brain just farted.
How
About how we get
annual leave?
Oh,
annual
okay.
leave.
With when you work for a place, and it's not a federal law, so places don't even have to give vacation. I heard that isn't it a federal law in Australia they have to after a year?
We can. Well, after a couple of months, really.
Okay, but in Australia you can take all of your weeks of vacation at the same time, can't you?
Yeah. I can't get any long service leave holidays or anything because I'm only casual.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why I get paid. I get paid hourly, and I get paid like penalty rates as well, like on holidays.
Mm.
I used to work full time as a chef. I fucking hated it because it's long hours, but the money was alright. But like, because I was like on a contract, they're like, oh, this is what you're gonna be earning a week, and how many hours you're gonna be doing, and then every 6 months or so, you can have like 4 weeks off. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm gonna check.
So, Naomi, how is it in Germany or in Britain where you're from? Like, is it the same way?
I think it's a bit more similar to Australia, where I think you get the annual leave, but I think you have to work for a couple of months.
I don't know if it's this way in
Yeah.
Australia or where you guys are at or from, but I also heard in other parts of the world, when a woman gets pregnant, she gets a year paid maternity leave, and the guy gets 6 months.
The
know
guy
if
gets
It's
pregnant.
changed a lot, yeah, and it's different in different countries. When I was pregnant and was living in the UK and working, I got 6 months off, and my pay gradually reduced over the 6 months, and then it stopped then.
Yeah,
But that was before they changed it to then 9 months.
because I know in Denmark and I believe in Amsterdam, like the Netherlands and stuff, theirs is a year paid and then
Yeah.
6 months for a guy. In America, a guy doesn't get jack shit, and I think the woman gets 6 months, maybe even a
Yeah.
few weeks.
The
Maybe
UK, the men got hardly anything.
But sometimes now, like, women don't really like want to work. They just want to, keep having kids and get paid to stay at home, and they get paid, from the government.
that's weird. We have the opposite in the United States because women work just as hard, if not harder, than men after they've just had kids because they don't get the maternity leave very often. Like they get one, but not like the same amount of time as other countries.
Yeah.
No.
And I honestly think, go ahead.
Do you guys get government support or anything? Like, do they give you or not?
What kind of government support?
Because we get it here as well. Like
we have unemployment, we have food stamps and stuff like that. But when it comes to like healthcare and like shit like that, we don't get jack shit.
Well, when COVID started, like a year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, the government were giving out like Dine and Discover.
I take that back. Yeah, during the pandemic, we got what was called pandemic relief checks. We got like $1,000 check or $1,200 check. But the thing is that was not enough due to our minimum wage being so low. Yeah. That wasn't enough to support us for a month. So they sent another check like 3 months later that was a lot less than that for some, and some people never got their check.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't got the vouchers because I didn't apply for it because I don't really go out as much. But when you apply, you get New South Wales residents age of 18 and older apply for six $25 vouchers worth $150 in total. Mm-hmm. So if you spend over $25 in your meals, say if it's like $100 or whatever on dinner, and you use your $25 voucher, you scan it on your phone, type it in, add it on the till, and then whatever's left of that person needs to pay off, they pay it. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty good. We don't get much for it, but yeah.
What's also crazy to me is I did a little bit of research just to wonder. In Australia, the minimum wage, I don't know what it would convert to Australian dollars, but the minimum wage in U.S. dollars as of July 1st, 2021 is $20.33 American.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because you know what our minimum wage is here? I want you to take a guess. I want you to take a guess our federal minimum wage. Most states are higher than that. Well, I think. I know mine is, but a lot of states are higher than that. For the last 20 years, I do believe it's been 20 years now, the minimum wage has been $7.25.
Oh, I was about to say 50, but
nope. Yeah, I wondered whether it was around $8.
We have the lowest minimum wage for most established countries, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
Like unemployment as well. Like,
yeah.
Did I get anything? Like, because here we have like in here we get that support and like job seeker report, support and shit. So.
With unemployment, I'm not too sure what that entails because I've never collected unemployment. But I think they decide they send you a certain amount of paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's it for the month. And typically people have been on unemployment while working. If you don't make above a certain amount, you are considered like pretty much poverty and you need the help.
Yeah. Yeah. They will get, I remember last year we were in lockdown. They were giving out to the people that lost their jobs, like the COVID job seeker disaster payment or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I remember getting it last year, and I was like getting like $1,100 a fortnight from the government because I lost my job through like lockdown and shit.
Well, the thing is, in America, though, if you get fired or whatever, you quit, they have a deciding factor on whether or not you're available for unemployment, even though you are unemployed. And then they decide from there. And some of the people that get unemployment, it's kind of bullshit, and others need the unemployment. So like, and then there's people that need it that don't get it.
Yeah. Which is
And
why I saved my money and put it in my other account.
I was doing that, but a lot of the money I had in savings, I kind of blew through during the pandemic because I took a few month leave from work.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the money I saved up, I blew on when I moved to Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna cost you a lot of money too.
Well, the move wasn't what costed me the most. It was I paid straight up that year's worth of rent, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paid that year's worth of rent, and then I went ahead and just paid the bills because I wanted to take a few months from work just so I can get used to my surroundings and shit and all that. So it worked out. It worked out.
Wow, last lockdown, we were in lockdown for like 4.5 months, which is like the longest for us in here. But yeah, I was like behind in rent.
A lot of people were.
And I told her, I'm like, look, I'm out of work, and I'm already getting paid this and this and this amount from the government a fortnight, and I'm gonna, pay you once a fortnight.
I would like to quickly give a shout out to our former co-host / host, Tony. He has been doing really good in school, and he's getting a job at a Harley dealership.
Yeah, good on him, man.
Congrats. That's great.
We are being joined right now by Dan the Man over at Just the Facts. Hello, Dan.
Morning.
How you doing, brother?
I just drug myself out of
Hello,
bed.
Dan.
Got my cup of coffee, and I'm ready to go. And I got a little herbed up too, so I'm ready.
I feel that. You're in Texas, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just north of Dallas.
I like to name that the last state to legalize pot.
Yeah. Yeah, but even though it's still not legal here, the cops don't give a shit.
That's how it is in Ohio. It's legal medically, but cops really don't care unless they really want to get you particularly.
I mean, I actually work with the police department here locally.
Mm-hmm.
I started an organization called Citizens Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually gave us so far 6 police cars that we get to drive around in. And but we get to do things like if there's a car accident, and they got blocked traffic, we'll block the traffic instead of having a cop do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just things that you don't need to be a cop to do. That's what we do for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So plus we get to patrol around. We see something suspicious, we call a car over, and But I've talked to the cops about pot. They they don't care.
They're after the harder shit.
Yeah. If it comes to like cocaine or fentanyl, stuff like that, yeah, they'll get you for that. But pot, they don't care. I even talked to even the police chief. All of them, they don't care. But if it's a large quantity, that's a different story. Because it may lead to something else.
Yeah, I know. When I lived in Phoenix, it was legal out there, and it was crazy going from Ohio, where you had to like smoke it in your car or in your house. In Phoenix, you can, as long as you're vaping it, you can have your weed vape pen smoking from it in public, and cops will not do shit. They don't even care. You can grow like 12 plants in your house.
So you're in Ohio?
I'm in Ohio now. I was living in Phoenix for about 9 months.
Okay, now my brother lives in Cincinnati, and he's going through chemo right now, and he's got a medical card now. Wouldn't that be from Ohio?
That would be Ohio, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the things that he's proud of now. He has his medical card. He can, so every time he comes down to visit me, he brings the medical stuff down for me. So it's pretty cool.
Did you ever think that you'd see the day where you could be like, I have a card, I can smoke weed?
Well, back in the 60s when I first started smoking, it was such a bad thing to get caught, man. It was so illegal back then. But I knew one day all these hippies were going to become adults, and they're going to start running the country. And I knew one day it was going to happen. And
it's just when.
Just didn't, I didn't know it was going to wait till I was in my 60s, but
It happens. We had Lynn Ruth Miller on here one time, and that kind of reminds me of what she said. She sadly passed away, but she was in her 90s when she was on here. And I asked her if she wanted to run for any type of political office, and she's like, well, once I'm old enough. Because it seems like that's why it's becoming legal, is because they wait until they're so old.
Yeah.
Like they won't have younger people in there because they're afraid of the change that might happen.
Yeah.
But did you hear about what Oregon did, Dan?
No.
Oregon, when they went to legalize pot, they said fuck it, and they legalized all drugs.
I don't agree with that.
They said because if it's in the store, there's a less chance of fentanyl being in it, overdose, HIV.
Well, that's true. You know, and I understand the same thing. We talk about the clean needles. You know, giving out needles. I don't condone any of that type of activity at all. But you know, it's almost like giving condoms to high school students. You're almost encouraging them to go out and have sex. But at the same time, you don't want them to. They're going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So you want them to be safe. You know, I can understand the concept of it, but.
Mm-hmm. And also, I believe Oregon is implementing where if you want help, you get rehab for free because of all the money made on the drugs.
Yeah. Which
I agree with that. I mean, if they're going to do it, at least give them a safe environment.
That's true. You know, I guess it could be argued, you know, that you're almost encouraging it, you know, mm-hmm. but your intent is not to encourage it. It's just to be safe with it.
Yeah.
And
also the argument that a lot of people are having is like the addiction rate, the overdose rate, all of that has went down in Oregon because they legalized everything.
Well, it's kind of like anything too, you know. I mean, like when I was younger, I couldn't wait to be, well, in Texas at the time, drinking age was 18. Mm-hmm. I couldn't wait to turn 18 so I could drink. Well, once I turned 18, it's like, well, it's no fun now.
Right?
Because it's legal.
Right.
It was more fun when you were sneaking around doing it.
Right. That's like when I was in Arizona, I'm like, yeah, smoking pot's still fun, but like not when you have to not hide it anymore.
Yeah. You go, cool, be cool, man. You know,
like that scene from Cheech and Chong where he's like, I think we're parked, man.
Or let me see your driver's license. Isn't it on the back of my car?
It's on my bumper. What's your name? Isn't it on my license?
His name is Ralph.
Did you hear they're making a new movie?
Really?
Yeah, they've been working on it for a while.
You know, years ago when I was in high school, we used to listen to Big Bamboo every morning.
That's a good one.
I knew the entire album word for word. And then years later, I joined the military, and I'm out in San Diego. And there's a club out there, Comedy Store, that Cheech and Chong was there for weeks, you know, and I wanted to go see him, but never did see him. First time I ever saw him was in 1978 at the Texas Jam in the Cotton Bowl. They came out and they were promoting their movie, Up in Smoke.
Damn,
you know, so that was the first time I ever saw him.
That's the best time to see him.
It was. Now they're old and gray and kind of like us.
I have a buddy that was on here quite a few times, Jeff Towers. He actually drove Tommy Chong around one time because he's a runner for like events.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it was kind of weird because it was in Canada and he had just did a photo shoot down this alleyway. And when he was driving Chong around, Chong pointed at that alleyway and he's like, that used to be a club, man. The first time I ever did stand-up was in that place. Yeah. And he's like, what a small world. Yeah, those guys are hilarious. There's a lot of new like sequels and stuff in the works. Like Jim Carrey announced Ace Ventura 3.
Wow.
And it's kind of weird because he rarely does sequels, let alone 3.
Yeah.
It better be a good movie. I saw a documentary the other day, Dan, that you might appreciate. It's called Bill Murray Stories. Have you seen that documentary?
No, I haven't.
It's about Bill Murray back like in the earlier days of the internet. There were stories going around about these weird appearances of Bill Murray. Like,
well, yeah.
Well, this guy found almost all the people that have stated all these different stories and heard their side, and every single story is true. And they have pictures or video evidence. And this documentary follows them all. And it's crazy. Like he randomly showed up at a construction site and read poetry for like no reason.
Yeah. One of the stories I heard was this guy at a restaurant sitting there eating his hamburger and his fries. Uh-huh. And this guy walks up beside him, grabs some fries and starts eating it. And the guy looks up. It's Bill Murray. Bill Murray just stands there with a straight face and says, nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah, he does that. They say that before he leaves, he says that.
Yeah.
Like he one time was in the bathroom and this guy was peeing at the urinal and Bill Murray was standing behind him with his arms crossed and the guy turned around and Bill's like, nobody's going to believe you, and left the bathroom. And then there's another one. They have video of this. Bill Murray, there was this college kids and they were going to have like a concert inside of their apartment. And the band was like, can we bring our roadie? We need help unloading. They're like, yeah, sure. Knock on the door. It's fucking Bill Murray carrying all the equipment. And he's chilling out, listening to the band, holding the tambourine and everything. The cops show up. Bill Murray answers the door, shaking the tambourine in the cop's face. And he's like, I'm Bill fucking Murray. And he invited the cops in. And then he left. He's like, nobody's going to believe you. And then left. What's up, Bill K?
Hey, Bill K.
But that's just insane because that level of fame. And the guy in the documentary said that the only way to reach Bill Murray is a 1-800 phone number that goes straight to voicemail. And Bill will call you back or he won't. That's just how he is. It has taken famous producers and shit of movies years to get him in their movies.
Yeah.
Because he does what he wants to do.
He's in a very comfortable spot in his life right now.
Yeah, so he's hard to acquire. And,
you talk about the bathroom scene, that it's kind of funny because you do meet odd people in the bathroom sometime.
Yeah.
There's a little club, at the time, this is back in, mid 80s, 83, 84. Mm-hmm. We got a little club out here. And at the time, our city was pretty small. We were out in the boonies. And there's a club out here, the Popular Hangout. And I go in the bathroom. I'm waiting. This guy in front of me using the urinal. I'm sitting there waiting. The guy turned around. It's Eddie Money. I go, what the hell are you doing here? And his daughter lives in the area, and he was in town visiting her, and so they came to the club. You
just gave me an idea for a part of the show. Bathroom stories.
Yeah.
Pink Sock Podcast should have bathroom stories. Because I would love to bring my buddy back on, because he was pissing at a urinal and Hugh Hefner was peeing next to him.
Huh. Well, that's a good time because, you got them. They're not going anywhere. You can talk to them.
That's got to be the most awkward way to meet, like, one of your, like, idols or whatever. Like, could you imagine being next to your urinal and your idol walks up and pisses the next to you?
What? Hey, you tell your friends. You couldn't believe who I met in the male toilets.
I met Danny DeVito in the shitter next to me.
Yeah. And we're like, while we're sitting down taking the shit together, we were talking about Batman Returns and shit. Like,
that kind of makes me wonder how many celebrities I've actually shit next to, because you can't see them when they're in the other bathroom, so I'm wondering.
Well, I almost got to go in the same restroom as Al Pacino.
God.
It was back in December. It was about 8 years ago. We were down in Austin. They were filming a movie, and I was an extra in the movie. And Al Pacino and Holly Hunter were the stars of the show. So I got to work with 2 Academy Award winners.
Damn, dude.
And so they're taking a break, and I'm sitting back on some equipment boxes for lighting. I'm just sitting there waiting, for them to redo the lighting. And Al Pacino comes up. And there's a little bathroom back there, and he walks by me, almost tripped and fell. And he kind of looks at me.
He really had to go?
Oh, yeah. Al Pacino actually pisses.
What's crazy is I imagine him being that guy in the bathroom that's really loud. You know what I mean? That guy that goes in the bathroom like, oh. And then he sits down and he's like, oh, this is a good one.
And it's funny how movies make you look different, too, because Al Pacino, I'm 5'8", which is not tall. Mm-hmm. Al Pacino comes up to hear about me, so he's about 5'6". He's a little guy. I go, he doesn't look like that in the movies,
No, he doesn't.
I was talking to Rob. He's a wrestler. He had a radio show, and he was talking about it. He met Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he said Jean-Claude Van Damme came up to about here, and he's like he wouldn't take photos with him because he was taller than him. Because it would ruin the image.
Yeah, yep.
So he wouldn't do pictures. and he just thought that was weird. Like,
Yeah, they told us when they were filming, us extras, we were the low level people. They said, do not talk to the stars. They're here to work. So do not. But Al Pacino did talk to me. They were taking a break. We were there like 9 hours filming one scene.
Damn.
And so they were redoing the lighting. So I went outside to smoke a cigarette. And as I was walking out the door, somebody coming up behind me, I look, oh, it's Al Pacino. So I held the door open. He goes, thank you. I went, oh, Al Pacino talked to me.
With all the takes they do in movies, like those scenes where they're eating, I always wonder how many times did they eat that cheeseburger to make that burger. That's
what my scene was. It was a dinner scene.
I bet you was full.
It was filmed at a Luby's down in Austin. And so there's a scene where Al Pacino is paying for his food. Well, I'm going through the line getting my food, and then you sit down and you start eating, another part of the scene. Well, redo, they redo it again. So you got to set everything back the way it was on your table, start eating again. I was so sick of Luby's food that night. I mean, for 9 hours. And the guy that directed that movie is David Gordon Green. He's the one that did Pineapple Express. So that was pretty cool to meet him, because that was one of my favorite pot movies.
So what was it like getting paid to eat?
Yeah.
Well, when we first started the scene, I was actually hungry. But then, you can only eat so much after 9 hours. But sometimes you just got to fake it,
I was going to say, like, you got to eventually just do props and act like you're eating, because that's got to make you full of shit.
And, when you're doing a scene and, they're focused in on the table where Holly Hunter and Al Pacino are, but you can see the background, people walking around. That is so choreographed. I'm standing with the table, and there's a guy across the room. Now. I would start walking with my tray. And then all of a sudden, another guy was like, go that way. I walk over here with my tray. I just kept walking with the tray, and they piece it all together, and it looks like a crowd.
That's awesome. So my question is, though, do they have to have that specific food item that you're eating every single time, or do they change it up each?
Well, not so much the food, but your setting, where your glass is, where your silverware is. All that's got to be the same every time.
Because I was going to say, the director's like, it has to be a salad. It's not going to be the same scene if it's not a Caesar salad in the blurry background.
Well, when we first started shooting the scene, like I said, I was hungry, and so the guy directed me, sit to the spot here. So I'm sitting at the spot, and at Luby's they got the cloth napkin with your silverware inside. Well, I'm taking that out, man. I'm eating normal. They made a cut. The director comes over to me. He goes, "You got to be quiet with your silverware." I go, well, hey, I'm about to eat, man. I'm making it real. He goes, just make your silverware quiet. All right. Redo it again.
Wow. I need to get you a shirt that says, make your silverware quiet. Just makes people question. But don't worry. Gorak's probably never going to make a movie, because when he eats, he's loud. He gets the... he gets the smackers. Cut.
What movie did you do then with Al Pacino?
Yeah, it looked like Bill Kay broke a rule when he talked to Joe Bonamassa backstage.
Oh, shit. Gorak wanted to know, I don't know if you heard him or not. He wanted to know, what movie was that with Al Pacino?
It's a movie called Manglehorn, which is his last name in the movie. He's a locksmith, and he had a love affair with a woman 20-something years ago, and they never got together. They kind of broke up, but he's had this longing for her for 20-something years, and he writes her a letter every day. He's really psyched over this girl, and it's totally affected his life. And after seeing the entire movie, it's the worst movie Al Pacino ever made. Terrible reviews on it.
But hey, they said Dan made that movie. I think I saw that review somewhere.
Well, it actually got me in I got an IMDb account now. It's got me, it says cafeteria patron.
You're the famous cafeteria patron. So what's crazy is, though, about movies, since you've been in one and you realize this, all the takes it takes, but there's also, they spend hours and hours on this one take, and that scene might not even make the movie.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's why I was curious when they finally did the premiere here in Dallas. And so I went to the premiere, and I didn't know if I ended up on the cutting floor or what, but no, I was actually in there. There's one scene where Holly Hunter and Al Pacino are facing each other, and in the background is my table, And you can see me drink a glass of water. The waitress comes up, gives me my bill, and I'm sitting there looking at the bill, and then they cut away. then after that, you never see my face after that. But I know where I am in the movie. You see me passing by behind them a couple of times. You see me at the cashier paying money. They actually gave me a bunch of fake money too.
You need your own movie, The Restaurant Patron. That's with Al Pacino.
Well, it'd probably be about as good as some of the shows that are coming up now. I saw the oddest show advertised for coming up, I guess, in January. New drama series, The Cleaning Lady. Yeah. I guess she solves crimes and everything. She's the cleaning lady, and she has inside scoop of what's going on and all. Oh my God! Really?
That sounds like one of them B-rated horror films. The cleaner lady. From the.
Can you imagine the cleaner knowing everything that's going on?
Yeah, she sees what's going on in the room. She's overhearing things and piecing things together. I can see the concept, but the cleaning lady, come on.
From the same people that brought you Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader. There's a new horror film in town, The Cleaner Lady. What? That's kind of like they did a Kindergarten Cop sequel without Arnold. Did you hear about that shit?
No, I don't think so.
That was a steaming pile of garbage.
That's probably why I never heard of it.
Guess who's playing in it, though?
I have no idea.
That I forget his name, but he plays the Russian in Rocky.
I think I'm on. Yeah, I know who it is. I was thinking of the name.
Hold on, let me look it up. Kindergarten Cop 2. It's I have his name at the tip of my tongue. Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, yeah.
And his love interest is like 20 to 30 years younger than him. Like, it's like a really weird movie because she's like in her like 20s and he's like 60 at this point.
But he has the same accent, right?
Yeah, he looks the same. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
The feel-good custodian movie called Jerry. Would you watch that movie, Jerry? They make some crazy movies. I ever heard of Charles Band, Dan?
Charles Band?
Yeah, he's the creator of Full Moon Features. They are the kings of B-rated horror flicks.
Oh, okay.
He made like Puppet Master and well, he made a movie with Tommy Chong in it, which you might appreciate. It's called Evil Bong. It's about this haunted bong that when people smoke it, they go to a dream sequence and the bong kills them and takes their soul.
Wow.
And the previous owner's Tommy Chong. And he's like, anyone who's owned this bong has died, man. And they're like, but you're alive. He's like, oh yeah. Well, almost everyone, man. It's fucking hilarious. But
I've got a bong that's 44 years old this month.
Happy birthday. Please tell me you clean it.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, it's aluminum cast, so it's easy, But yeah, I've had that sucker for December of 78.
Damn.
That's probably older than you.
That bong's old. Most of Black Sabbath's albums. It's like, damn, dude. How did you keep it that long? Because I usually drop them.
Well, like I said, it's aluminum cast, so it's But some of the welds broke loose, like the long neck. Mm-hmm. You got to hold that on now. I had to make a new base because it rotted away. But
damn,
a lot of people have used that. They're not all dead, but
You should have had everyone that has smoked out of it sign it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You have a signed bong by every celebrity you've smoked with. Now, did you smoke out of that bong with Dimebag?
No.
That would have been cool.
No, because it never really left my house, and Dime never came over to my house. I've been over to his house, but he never came to mine.
Were you at his house, the one that had the studio?
Oh, yeah. Jason Chasen Studios, yeah.
I heard that when they did the first Hell Yeah album, didn't they record it in that studio?
Oh, yeah. Everything from, I think the last two Pantera albums, after that, everything, Damage Plan, Hell Yeah, everything was recorded in there.
Because I remember hearing a story that Vinny almost changed his mind on Hell Yeah, because they went to that studio and nothing was changed.
Yeah.
And he didn't think he could physically do it.
Well, it's kind of eerie when you go back there because they got all the Pantera gear packed away. And well, at the time it was Damage Plan. They reused a lot for Damage Plan. Still had the set list, still on the speakers, and it's like, wow.
So did Vinny have the rights to that studio after Dime died, or was that Dime's wife that just gave them permission to use it?
Yeah, well, yeah, he always had access to it, you know.
So what's going on with it now? Do you know?
Nothing. Rita's moved out to Hollywood. She still owns Dime's house. You know, they're not going to get rid of it. It's going to be, you know, it's kind of a historical land site.
They should turn it into like a museum or something.
You know, he still has his very first car parked out in the driveway, the Camaro. That's still parked out. It's in really bad shape, but it's still there. His very first car.
They should definitely turn that into like a museum or something for like music buffs and shit.
The only thing I know that they had out there recently, you know, I started Ride for Dime back in 2005, and you know, every year during the ride we'd go by Dimebag's house, then we'd go by the cemetery, then end up at a venue and, you know, do the concert. And when was it? In 2000, we had kind of a falling out, me and Dimebag's girlfriend. We had a falling out like in summer 2016. I was called back because I had stepped down from the board in 2008. Then she calls me back in 2016, wanted me back on the board of directors again. So I agreed to it with some stipulations. And, well, things didn't go right that year in 2016. We made a lot of money, made over $100,000, but I never knew where the money went. You know, I have no idea where the money went. I never, to this day, have never gotten answers. So I cut ties totally. And
understandable.
And then they changed the date. We always had it on his birthday in August every year. Well, she changed it to December, the day he was killed. I go, no, man, you celebrate his life, not his death.
Right.
But they did anyway. That's kind of a flop. Didn't work out right. And it kept going downhill. I mean, they kept making bad decisions. And then they decided, well, we're going to just have a ride. And then we're going to have a barbecue at Dime's house. And Dave Grohl is now on the board of directors. So he was the chef. So if you participated in the ride, you got to go to Dime's house and have a barbecue with Dave Grohl.
I heard he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, nicest guy in rock and roll. And he said he learned that from Dimebag. You know, so. But anyway, I don't think they even had anything here the last couple of years. It's all been done out in Hollywood now, where she's at.
That's awesome.
And they renamed it. Instead of Ride for Dime, they call it the Dime Bash.
Yeah.
Well, see, when it all started, I had Ride for Dime and Rita had Dime Bash. And I think it was our third year, Rita finally showed up and saw what Ride for Dime was. And that's when she became involved in it. And that's when I kind of made my exit.
Do you plan on doing anything like that for Dime again? Or are you just done with it?
I'm done with it, yeah. Because there was a big controversy. When I stepped down as president, the guy that took over my position, there was a lot of controversy about this guy. And there was money coming up missing, and there was tax issues. And my name was still on the books. You know, and they're trying to investigate me, and I said, dude, I ain't got nothing to do with this, you know. So then the local newspaper, music newspaper here, did like a 16-page write-up about the downfall of Ride for Dime and the accusations that were going on. And so there was a big switchover in 2016. And when I came back, a whole lot of the fans came back. And that's what is the biggest one ever. And then, well, one of the things I think they were upset with, you know, I was in charge of the ride itself, not the concert side of it, just the motorcycle ride. And all these years we did, 11 rides, even one for Ozfest. And then that morning it rained. I go, well, I got to make a decision here pretty soon. Are we going to have the ride, or are we just going to forget about it this year? Because I don't want people riding in the rain. You know, nothing was scarier than had 350 motorcycles behind you, and riding on wet pavement. So about noontime, there's still light sprinkling out, and the roads were soaked. And I called it. I said, no ride this year. Just everybody head to the concert. Well, the Rita camp, they got very upset that I canceled the ride, but all the bikers said it was a good call. Said, yeah, good call, guys, good. But the other people on the board said, oh, you made the call too soon. You should have waited. No, sorry. I'm not going to have that many motorcycles behind me, and have one accident. It would ruin the entire thing. We went 11 years without one accident.
Yeah, one accident's all it takes for like a lawsuit. And
I was always so relieved when we finally got to our destination. It's like I could take a deep breath. It's over. Nobody got hurt.
I got a question in your opinion, because we don't actually know if this will happen or not. But according to Vinny, when he was still alive, there was a second Damage Plan album that never saw the light of day.
That's gonna be up to Rita. And
do you ever think that will possibly happen, though? Do you think she'll let it happen?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a lot more stuff too. There's a lot of material out there in the studios. I saw a plastic garbage can filled to the top of videotapes. I mean, no one's gone. Well, this was as of 5 years ago. Nobody had even gone through all these tapes. So I could see another video coming out. Another Pantera video.
From what I heard of, Dimebag and Vinny both were always writing.
Yeah.
They're always writing. When they weren't writing, they were touring.
Yeah.
And when they were touring, they were still writing on the bus.
Yeah, there's a lot of material, and I don't know as far as audio, but I know there's a lot of video. And but they recorded everything.
Like the cover that Hell Yeah did of I Don't Care Anymore, that solo was actually Dimebag.
Yeah, that's right.
They found the solo, I think it was originally meant to be a Pantera song, but Phil couldn't do vocally or whatever, or it wasn't a song that he wanted to do. So they scrapped it, and then Vinny found the original solo, and he was able to convert it to MP3 or whatever format they needed in order to do the album.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think that was done on another song too with another band.
It might have.
Because I can't remember who did that.
Because I know Zakk Wylde also, I think he has quite a few unused Dimebag solos for songs of his.
Yeah.
That he might be using in the near future.
But like any band, I mean, anytime they're in the studio, they're recording something.
Yeah.
They don't use half that stuff, but as long as they don't destroy it, it's there.
That's like Ozzy Osbourne when he did Osmosis. There's like a whole album's worth of music that has been released after that was supposed to be on that album, and that's just what he chose to release. Who the hell knows what other albums have what?
Exactly.
Like, who knows? Like, when Frank Zappa died, look at all the music we got.
Yeah.
It was unreleased or different versions of each song. Like, you never know.
Now, there's a guy that's actually in charge of all of Frank Zappa's material called the Vault Keeper. The funniest guy, I forgot what his name was now. Joe something or other.
Wasn't he on one of the shows? Shows?
Yeah, on that other
yeah.
streaming show that we don't discuss.
The show we do not mention. I think I saw him a few times on that, and I think I saw him on another show that I follow.
I always wonder what that'd be like to know you're in charge of all of Frank Zappa's material.
That is a lot.
I mean, oh my God.
There's a documentary out right now called Zappa. It came out not too long ago. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Frank Zappa actually walks into the room where all his shit's at, and it's a huge room. And he had like every song he's ever released, every time he's ever like recorded himself on stage. He has a recording of him with John Lennon performing. He has like all these videos unreleased, all these songs that were unreleased. And this was in the early 80s when he was still alive. Who knew what he released after that?
Now, I met Frank Zappa in 1977 at a
Lucky
club.
Bastard.
At a club here in Dallas. Well, he actually sat down at our table and I smoked a joint with him.
And he claims he never smoked pot.
No, he did that night.
I honestly think he did, but like he said that he never did drugs, but he never considered pot a drug. I don't think.
And he's not the type that would promote it either.
Right.
that was his private business. I was that way at work, believe it or not. When they started drug testing and all that, people at work thought I was the straightest guy ever. I said, well, I want to keep my job, so I'm going to put on that persona that I hate drugs.
Yeah.
But I would never single anybody out. But you put on a persona, you're against it. They're not going to suspect you.
My thing is anymore, ever since living in Arizona, is if they're a job that would terminate me for doing what helps with my mental health, they're not a job I want. That's just how I feel. Because it's not frowned upon like it used to be. Like if it was, then I wouldn't be so open about it.
Well, about drug testing, what always pissed me off about the drug testing, THC stays in your system much longer than any other drug.
Yeah, a month.
So you could be a cokehead, stop for 3 days and come up, negative on the test, and you get the job. Well, I would rather have a pothead working for me than a cokehead.
Because they actually make sure the work's getting done pristine because they don't.
I thought, well, if I ever started a company and I required drug testing, I would require you have to come up positive on THC. You know,
Well,
any negative test, you're not getting hired.
my thing is though is okay, they're testing for marijuana, okay, but they're not testing for alcohol.
Yeah.
If you're drunk on the job, that's fine. If you're high on the job, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, what? I think they shouldn't do the drug test unless you get injured at work or unless it's an actual problem with you all the time.
Yeah.
Like a personal issue.
You know, because when you look at, you know, like being high and driving and being drunk
Yeah.
and driving.
Yeah.
Well, a drunk guy, you know, he don't care. He's just trying to get. When you're high, man, you're focused.
Yeah, you're like sitting there, you're like, when's this sign gonna change to go?
Well,
It's been
that
on
may be a
stop.
little. That may be a little too high.
Did you hear what Tommy Chung said about him when he got real high one time and he got pulled over by one of them work lights on one of the work zone signs?
Yeah.
He stopped and he's like, and he said there was no cops, so he pulled out a joint and started smoking, and then a real cop showed up. And he hit it, and the cop came up and said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Didn't you pull me over, man?"
Oh yeah, the Vaultmeister for
Joe Travers.
Joe Travers. Yeah, that.
I couldn't do it because I don't know if anybody, well, besides Buckethead, I don't think anybody has that much music. Because Frank Zappa had like 20 different versions of one song, and then he had like hundreds of different songs.
Yeah.
Like, how did he find time to do that? Like, shit.
Well, he didn't work. He didn't work a regular job, so he had plenty of time.
I wish his son would do more original stuff. He used to, but he's more so plays Zappas now.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Dweezil in years.
He did I don't know how long ago this was. It might be longer than I remember. But the bassist of Spinal Tap released a solo album not too long ago. And Dweezil was on it. And that's the last time I heard about him.
Yeah.
Which was a great album.
And whatever happened to Moon Unit?
Moon Unit, haven't heard much from any of the children besides
Yeah.
Dweezil. Because Dweezil will tour as Zappa Plays Zappa, where he'll just play Frank's music. Which he sounds and looks like his dad, but I would love to hear something original. Because the original music that he did release was incredible.
I think the first album I ever saw by Frank Zappa was Weasel Rip My Flesh.
Great album.
You guys shaving?
But my first introduction to Frank, though, was probably Apostrophe.
Oh, okay.
Or Freak Out, his debut album. I don't know which one came first for me. Freak Out was a great debut.
He had so many great lines in all those songs. You know, watch out where the Huskies go. Don't you eat the yellow snow.
Why does it hurt when I pee? That was from Joe's Garage, wasn't it?
Oh, hell, I can't remember. I haven't listened to Zappa in a long time.
His music is so great. The song I'm the Slime was way ahead of its time. It still applies to this day. Yeah, Apostrophe was Yellow Snow.
Yeah.
The reason why I remember that is because I was in like a music class. It was like the history of rock and roll class or whatever. And the teacher was like, "How many of you have heard of Frank Zappa?" I was the only one. And he's like, "How many of you like Frank Zappa?" And I'm like, still the only one. And he's like, "No way." I'm like, "Watch out where the Huskies go, but don't you eat that yellow snow." He's like, "That's weird because we're watching that documentary right now." And we ended up watching the documentary of the making of Apostrophe. Great fucking album. Zappa, I don't think had a whole lot of like real bad albums. Well, that's open for debate because Zappa was weird as hell. But like, if you're a Zappa fan, I don't think he's released a bad album. But hey, Dan, you want to promote yourself real quick?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel. It's right here under my name there. I've got a little bit of everything in there. I got some old historical footage that I've taken. I take on new projects. I think my latest one was going through Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, using the audio soundtrack from 1963. So that came out pretty good. I think my next project is probably going to be Bonnie and Clyde. They filmed the 1967 Bonnie and Clyde movie here in Dallas, well, North Texas. And I'm going to go to all the sites where they did the film, where they did different scenes and do a little bit about that. Then I'm going to do another video about the real Bonnie and Clyde, you know, go to their grave site. I mean, they're buried like 15 miles from here, and do the real story about Bonnie and Clyde. Go to some of their hangouts, Clyde's old house, you know, there's cool stuff. Sometimes, you know, I'll just do weird stuff too. I've got, I could do a 3-camera shot in my truck, and I got cameras on my rooftop. And one of the things I'm gonna do this year, sounds goofy, going to drive down the streets and record all the Christmas lights, you know, do that live. And that way, while I'm in my truck, I could switch to the left camera or the right camera, you know, and get both sides of the street.
The thing is, though, nowadays, it seems like when you don't try or when you do like something silly or stupid, that's what gets the most views.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, it's weird. My most views on YouTube is a video of me reacting to WAP before it became famous. Because it just was released. I'm like, I'll check this out. And that video's got like thousands of views, but I can't. The ones where I try.
Well, some of my biggest videos, of course, with Dimebag and Pantera, those guys, is my Columbia Space Shuttle video that I shot. I don't know if you knew about that, but yeah, when Columbia broke up over Dallas in 2003, yeah, I got the whole thing on video, and I've got over 2 million views on just that one video.
Damn.
And I've got my Elvis Presley. When I met Elvis Presley, I've got that video up there. It gets a lot of hits.
Oh, is that one you showed on Robert Rose podcast where you?
Yeah, I'm out at Waikiki Beach, and Elvis lands in a helicopter and going to do that Aloha Hawaii concert back in January of '73. I was only 15 years old at the time, but even then I had kept a camera with me. I had a little 8mm film camera. And,
Dan, I think you're one of the only people I know that have seen Elvis Presley, Frank Zappa, and Pantera in their lifetime.
I don't know, just being at the right place at the right time. And you know, I can say it's probably all due to Elvis Presley. That day at Waikiki, before that I would just shoot things around the house, just, you know, my brothers and sisters, things like that. And then after meeting Elvis Presley, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I got some cool footage here. And my first instinct was I wanted to be in the music industry somehow. I wanted to be a rock star if possible. That never panned out, but as years went on, you know, I worked with bands. It started off as a roadie. Then I started managing bands. Then I started putting on music festivals. So when you start doing that, you start meeting a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Right place, right time. That's how life works.
And then, you know, I get to a point where I said, you know what, I'm retired now. I'm done. I mean, I'll do things like this. This is still fun, but, you know, I'm not, you know, I've always had a project going all the time. Like I said, I even started the Citizen Patrol unit out here in our city, you know, and after about 3 or 4 years, I move on to another project, just whatever comes my way.
That's kind of how you got to be. Just keep with the flow of life.
Because, I used to skydive, and there's guys I knew that was their life. Skydiving was absolutely everything. I go, well, yeah, don't you get bored with it after a while, you know? So I did it for a while, and I said, well, I'm done with that. I survived. I had fun. Then I'd go on to something else. But some people just stick with the same thing. You know, they're a guitar player. That's all they focus on their entire life. I like hopping around. I like a little taste of everything, you know. And I'm not one to sit back and just let it happen. You know, if you want to pursue it, you know, use the networking, people that you know already. You know, use them to get to the next step possibly.
I've been in the food industry for about a decade, and I'm thinking about changing it up. Because I would love to be a part of the entertainment industry and stuff. It's just with me, and I think this is with a lot of people, it's the anxiety and it's the comfort of where you're at.
Yeah.
That you want to do better and you want to do something else, but it's the fear of what if it don't work and now I'm broke or homeless.
Well, you know, I had a regular job all my life until I was 55. And everything I did on the side was just in case I want to make that leap. I got something I can leap to, something I really enjoy. So I always had these hobbies, always doing things, you know, and, and now that I'm retired for the last 10 years, you know, I have all the time in the world now.
Well, the thing is, people don't realize it's never too late to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because Colonel Sanders, for instance, he didn't start KFC till he was in his late 60s, and he was going to kill himself. He wrote a suicide note about everything he didn't accomplish, and he's like, fuck it, why don't I try to accomplish it? So he did it.
And if you fail, chalk it up to a learning experience.
Yeah.
Don't do that next time. Try it another way. It's easy to give up on something.
The hardest job in the entertainment industry is the one that I want to do, stand-up comedy. Because trial and error in stand-up comedy is you have a crowd there. With a band, you can like play a solo, or you can just pretend like that didn't happen. But as a comedian, you have to like try to pick up your bootstraps or not.
Yeah. Well, one thing about the entertainment business, depending on what, I guess what sector you get into, there's not much money there. Just I mean, I've worked all these bands all these years, and and I'm probably actually in debt for all that. I remember the Ride for Dime still owes me about $4,000. But because I invested about $11,000 into it and got most of it paid back, but not all of it.
I forgot who said it, but somebody said anybody in the entertainment industry does have mental problems because it's not an industry that most people want to be in.
It looks glamorous from the outside, but when you're in it, there's a lot of BS, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot of personalities you have to deal with. Mm-hmm. And I got to the point where I'm just tired of it. I just want to be by myself, do my own thing with nobody else involved.
Mm-hmm. So where'd the name Just the Facts come from? Because you do like these travel videos and all that stuff. Is there a...
Well, no, it's just that I guess everybody's really talking about it nowadays, the misinformation on the internet. Mm-hmm. I'm sick and tired of seeing misinformation. People jumping to conclusions, And I'm the type of guy, I'll listen to all sides of the story. Let's get all the facts in, and I'll make my own decision. Mm-hmm. The same way with the COVID thing, you got two sides. I listen to both sides and make my own decision, mm-hmm. But you got to have just the facts. You just can't go by hearsay and things. So it just, when I state something, I like to make sure that it's true, mm-hmm. and it's not it's not my, what do you call it? Just being truthful about everything and not adding to a story. Like, that little game where people whisper something in your ear and you pass to the next person. Mm-hmm. I'm the type of guy, when it gets to the last person, I want it to be the same as it was when it went in. I don't want it changed,
Right.
So just as long as you're dealing with the facts,
It's like that whisper game. It starts off with like, Susie went to go pee, and next thing you know, you have a hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like Chinese whispers, they used to call it.
Uh-huh.
Bill Kay says Jack Webb. Well, that was that part of my influence too, because I loved Jack Webb and that little saint, Just the Facts, man. He only said that once in all of the Dragnet shows. He only said that once.
That's like a lot of people, like famous quotes and stuff was either said once or it's not even the actual quote at all.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars, I always go back to Star Wars. Luke, I am your father was never said in that movie. Never.
No, but it was similar. What was the actual statement?
The actual statement is Luke told him that Obi-Wan told me about my father. He was a Jedi, whatever else he said. And then Darth Vader was like, no, I am your father. Okay. He interrupted him and said no, but he never said, Luke, I'm your father. Okay. That's kind of like, the movie Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, yeah.
That scene where he turns around and says, hello, Clarice. Mm-hmm. He doesn't say that. If you go and watch it again, he says "Good evening," which kind of fucks with my head. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite horror movies, and I remember him saying that. That's actually something called the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect, yeah.
Mandela effect, which it messes with my head. I did a whole episode on that. That's crazy. Do you have your own show, Dan, or is it just these videos that you do?
Well, I'll do a live show every now and then. I'm not on a schedule or anything. Okay. I don't live by schedules anymore.
You just do as you do.
Yeah, whenever. If somebody wants to watch, they can watch. I'll try to promote it ahead of time. If it's somebody like I've got a video that I'm going to be shooting here pretty soon. You've heard of Lillian Axe? From back in the '80s, they were kind of glam with the big hair.
Doesn't ring a bell, but I might have heard a song.
Yeah, well, they're still around, but basically, the band is now full of replacements. Oh. And 3 of the original guys are now in a new band that I'm going to help start promoting through video. And so I'm going to be helping them out a little bit, doing a promo video. Now I'll promote that, but if I do a live show, it's just basically I'm just winging it.
Well, the thing is with live shows anymore, and take it from somebody who does them once a week, We're thinking about changing our platform anyway because people listen afterwards anymore because the pandemic's starting to let up. People are actually going outside. Yeah. We don't have as much of a crowd as we used to. People do still listen, but it's usually after the fact anyway.
Yeah.
And it's easier to set up the topics too because on a show like this, you don't know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. See, another thing about live too, people have short attention span. Yeah. So the thing that gets more hits are short videos. You know, if you got a 5-minute video, that's going to get way more hits than a 3-hour-long talk show. Because no one's going to watch all 3 hours.
It's hard to do a show like this and keep it 20 minutes, especially when the conversation gets interesting.
Well, I actually know somebody that does live shows twice a day, and they don't even keep them on their platform. They delete them. Once they're through with the live show, they delete it.
So it's just for the live audience?
Just for the live audience, yeah. They don't even keep it on their YouTube.
Well, the thing with this show is we plan on doing like shorter shit and like doing more stuff with it. But the podcast, it's hard to listen to a podcast. I get it. It's this long, but we're no Joe Rogan though. That guy goes for like days.
Yeah.
Like, I saw one of his podcasts that said 5 hours. I'm like, no, like I need that in parts.
Well, Royce's show last night was 3 hours.
Well, yeah, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
He's been wanting me to be on the show, but I don't get to be on it very often because I get off work an hour after it goes on, and 9 times out of 10, he's either done or wrapping up.
Yeah.
So, but I'm probably going to cut the show off, but Dan, I'd love to have you back on sometime to talk stories because I know you got a lot of them. We could have a bathroom talk episode.
See,
we're all casting our bathrooms.
We're all on the shitter.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I know our buddy Robert Rowe probably has a microphone in his bathroom. He has them everywhere else in his house. But Dan, thank you so much for joining.
No, not a problem.
It was incredible having you. We could do this for hours,
but
I got to work.
Yeah, it's good to meet y'all. Yorkshire Pud and Gorak. Gorak or Gorak?
Gorak. Yeah,
Gorak.
I'm from Australia. So.
He's from Australia. We got Naomi down here. She's living in Germany, but from where'd you say you're from again, dear? I keep asking you this because I suck.
Well, from the UK, from Yorkshire.
Okay, Yorkshire.
Yorkshire, yeah.
But yeah, she lives in Germany, but she's the only German with that accent. She lived somewhere with the most polite accent and then moved somewhere with the most angry accent.
Well, they've got you guys in Australia pretty much locked down, don't they?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Well, but they let the unvaccinated people out last week. And cases have gone up now.
I saw a video where there was a guy getting arrested because he was out sunbathing. They said that's not an essential
that was like
activity.
Months ago or something like that. Yeah, we were in lockdown for like 4.5 months.
I've actually been locked down almost 2 years. My wife was sick with cancer, and so we were in lockdown before COVID even hit. So to me, it didn't change my lifestyle at all. Since she passed away in May, I still kind of keep locked up. I just don't, I'm at high risk. I'm not anti-vaxxer, but there's things about the vaccine that I wonder about.
Mm-hmm. I was the same thing as well.
It's personal choice.
I got it because I wanted to go back to it.
Yeah. It's better safe than sorry, I think. Anything you hear on the left is extreme. Anything you hear on the right is extreme. So like I said, let's get the facts. Somewhere in the middle, I make my own decision. Mm-hmm. But they told me I had to get. It was best for me to get the vaccine because my wife was really ill, and if I brought it into her, it would kill her. So I said, "Well, yeah, I'll get the shot." Yeah. So I got the shot, and 8 days later, I had a heart attack.
Damn.
I
remember you telling me that.
Yeah, and then I got out of the hospital. 2 weeks later, I had another heart attack, and they couldn't find the reason why I had the heart attack. And I go, "Well, the timing is kind of suspicious, but I can't blame it on the vaccine because I don't know for sure."
Yeah,
I'm about to get my booster, and I want it all documented.
Well, the thing with me is the reason why I haven't gotten it is because I have a friend who lost their brother recently, and he was vaccinated, both of them, and the booster. He ended up getting COVID, got put on a ventilator, and died.
Wow.
And that's not the first case I've heard of friends going through that. So if it's going to possibly make you sick anyway or kill you anyway, who's to say that vaccinated or not, you would have gotten that sick or not?
Well, of course, they're saying, if you do get it, that you won't get it as bad.
Yeah.
How do they determine that? I'd like to see the stats on that.
Somebody who already had it and then they
Yeah.
got vaccinated later. Like, that's the only way to figure it out. But who's to say it's not, since we have a different strain now, because this has been evolving into different strains.
Yeah.
So who's to say that the strain that you got before was more deadly or for you or not?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
because
way.
people are panicking about this new strain.
It's weak.
They're saying it's weak, but I don't think enough time has gone by yet. I'm more curious to see what the death rate is,
Mhm.
but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's been around long enough to see what the death rate is on the new strain. If it's very low, I mean, if it's equal to the flu, then let's not overreact too much for it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with COVID, it has already surpassed the Spanish flu in deaths in the United States.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because other countries, due to them having their shit together during this, it didn't surpass Spanish flu anywhere else. Just here. Which is crazy because if you remember, Italy was like, fuck this. They completely locked down. Nobody was allowed leaving.
Yeah. To be honest, being stuck in my house for 4.5 months because I'm a chef was great because I needed a break. I was expecting 4.5 months off, but I just needed a break.
I just needed a break. I'm ready to go back.
I think one thing that this pandemic has done, a lot of people start working at home. Well, that's a good thing, That's going to be a savings to a lot of companies, and it's going to be a lot of, more convenient for a lot of people. So it's I think we kind of turned a corner on a new way of how we work now, So it's kind of evolved into something that could be positive, That way you're not stuck to living in a little city doing a stupid job. You can get a good job living in a stupid little city, making bigger money doing something for a company in New York,
Yeah, and if you noticed, due to the pandemic, a lot of people are now holding corporations accountable for paying them what they're worth.
Yeah.
So a lot of places are either going to raise what they're paying people or they're just going to go out of business because nobody wants to work there.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the second Great Depression in a way, where the economy sucks, but people don't want to work for shit. Shit.
Well, when we reopened a couple of months ago, our bosses sent us an email, a survey saying, would you let unvaccinated people into the workplace in December 15th? I said, no.
No.
I don't want to get locked down again. I can't afford to be unemployed for a couple of weeks and not get paid. I can't go broke again. I can't afford it. Not at this time.
Yeah, we have to do tests at work at the moment.
What was crazy about the United States is they gave us those checks and they acted like they were doing us a favor. That's our fucking money.
But everywhere down here has changed a lot now. Malls, everything. I do everything online now.
Yeah.
Change is a good thing because change is the way we progress as a society and ensure our own survival.
Yeah, but the only thing that hasn't changed is people going out to nightclubs now. It's just packed. And I think that's where all the cases are right now, I think.
Yeah, they've all shut here where I live.
Yeah, I get
some nightclubs.
Yeah, I still get a little nervous going out. I usually go out once a week to the grocery store, get my necessities. But on Saturday night, I went out to a club. First time I've been to a club in a couple of years. But luckily the club wasn't really packed and there was good ventilation. I mean, I didn't wear my mask, but it's a restaurant. I had some food, but there was nobody really around me. And I don't know, definitely I keep an eye out for that now. I went to the Rolling Stones concert, a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
There were 40,000 people there, but it was outside. And I thought, well, we'll sneak by this. Well, 4 days later, man, I'm getting a sore throat. And I'm going, oh God, don't tell me. But luckily it was a 24-hour cold or whatever. It went away. But I started thinking, man, it just gets me nervous, because like I said, I'm at high risk. If I get it, it'll probably kill me.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is me and my mom, against better judgment, but I had fun anyway. We went to an Alice Cooper concert. thing is we didn't get sick after the Alice Cooper concert. My parents decided to go on, we think this is where they got it, we don't know. They decided to go on their anniversary, and they came back, and my dad got sick, and he's high risk like you are, and luckily he made it through. He had help from the hospital, but he made it through. But we didn't get sick going to a crowded hospital, not a hospital concert, sorry. We didn't get sick from a crowded concert, but we got sick on a vacation where they ran into barely any people. It's just weird.
You know, there's a theory. I don't know how true this is, but when COVID first hit, they're talking about how the virus, will go into your respiratory system, and it's got the little spikes, and it's looking for a way to get into your lungs.
Yeah.
To attach itself. Well, one of the stats that I remember reading from China when it first came out, almost everybody in China smokes.
Yeah.
Okay. But the infection rate was that there's less non-smokers had it more than smokers.
Mm-hmm.
They go, well, how can that be? Well, they're thinking the tar and nicotine in your lungs is preventing that virus from finding a way to attach itself. So immediately everybody went out and started buying nicotine gum, and they go, wait a minute, that's not how that works. It's the actual smoking. So I don't know whatever became of that study, but I was curious, do smokers actually have less of a chance or more of a chance, or same amount of chance?
I'm also read somewhere that they have found out not just smokers, because I heard that study. There's also a study that said those who smoke pot every day have less of a chance of severe symptoms. Because I was sick, but there was like 3 days when I was really sick, and then the rest of my symptoms were pretty mild, and it probably could have been much worse. Because I'm asthmatic. If it attaches to my lungs, but they also say if you stay up and moving too, prevents any type of lung infection.
Yeah.
That was the issue my dad had. He couldn't move.
So were they having to turn him?
Well, I don't know what they did in the hospital. I know that he got really sick. He ended up going to the hospital because he was dehydrated really bad. And then they found out he had an infection on his lungs. So I don't know what they did. I know they gave him a bunch of vitamins, and they gave him like COVID medication, but that's
because I know they're having to turn the patients over, like sleep on their stomach, because your lungs, if you stay in, prone on your back like that, things kind of settle in your lungs.
Yeah.
So if you keep it turning and keep it moving, you're able to cough it up better. And
yeah, that's what I was told. Sleep on your side, on your back, or in a recliner. Not on your back, but on your stomach or in a recliner.
Yeah.
That's what I did the whole time, and I was fine. My mom slept in a recliner too. We got sick. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't get sick. I had to almost cancel the podcast a couple times during it.
Well, that's better than having to go to the hospital.
Right.
We had a police officer that was in a induced coma for 2 months.
Damn.
And he came out of it, and I saw him for the first time. He got out of the hospital in February, and I saw him for the first time a couple weeks ago. And he still looks bad. He still doesn't have his smell or taste back. He's not infectious anymore. He went through the ringer. It
lingers because I still have lingering symptoms, and I had a mild case, but I get randomly tired at work. I have an occasional cough. It slowly went away. I'll have moments where I'm perfectly fine and I'm tired and then I'm coughing, but I don't know if it's from the COVID I had or if it's just the seasonal shit.
Yeah.
Because this time of year I get that way anyway. So
it's something I always have a hard time distinguishing because I've been smoking cigarettes for about 52 years now, and I got the smoker's cough.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll have a cough attack, and I'm going, wait a minute, is that from the cigarettes, or am I coming down with something? It's hard to determine sometimes.
That's kind of why I avoid cigarette stuff. I'm one of those guys that all I did was smoke pot. I rarely drank. I rarely do anything else, if at all. I just enjoy my herbal medicine.
Well, so you're in the generation that shouldn't smoke, because by the time you guys were around, the facts were in.
Yeah.
What cigarette smoking will do to you. When I was growing up, that was part of becoming an adult. You'd start smoking.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody smoked. Even the news reporters on TV were smoking while they're giving the news. It was just all part of growing up. Then once I get hooked, they go, oh yeah, it'll kill you. Well, hell.
Do you think maybe cigarettes became as commercialized as they were to get everyone's mind off of marijuana? Because around that time, when they were commercializing it, was when they were making marijuana illegal.
Well, I don't know. Marijuana was illegal for way before that, I thought.
On a federal level, I
Yeah.
don't think it became illegal until like 1950s, maybe 1960s. But they were starting to crack down on it already.
Yeah, they put out propaganda stuff like Reefer Madness back in the 30s.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That guy that did that movie is the guy, I believe, that sent the letter to Congress saying that marijuana makes women sleep with black jazz musicians.
Ah. Is he the guy that in the movie Faster?
Yeah. That movie is a great comedy nowadays.
It is. Oh, I laughed through it. It's hilarious.
But it was.
They're playing that piano. You know. Well, first of all, you're a little more relaxed than that. That's more like if she's on cocaine playing that piano. You know.
Right. That should have been Cocaine Madness.
Yeah.
Marijuana. I'm gonna try to find out when it became illegal in the United States. It became illegal in 1937.
Okay.
But it didn't go on the Controlled Substance Act until 1970.
Oh, okay.
So I was right and you're right at the same time. There's the way laws work is fucking stupid. Yeah, luckily my father didn't need a ventilator. Thank God.
Hmm.
They say that when you get on that ventilator, that's when you're real rough. But I'm glad Jackie's father made it through. But I'm going to get off of here, Dan, because if we keep talking, we're not going to have anything to talk about next time.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone. Go check out Voice
Thank
It.
you.
Go check out all the other shows. Go Ask a Dan. Go to Royce in the House while you're asking a Dan, because he is on that show, too. Remember, everyone, live long, rock hard.
Later.